Good evening, Madam President and members of the City Council. My name is Daniel Engel. I live down the street in Ward 3. I urge you to reject this BDS ballot question and condemn the swastikas inside and outside this room. I'm a proud Israeli-American Jew with heritage from Yemen, Morocco, Germany, Eastern Europe. My last living grandparent lives in Israel, along with countless other family members and friends. I work for a company with numerous Israelis. This resolution has an impact on me and those around me. I want to talk about one particular phrase that I've heard a few times today: globalize the Intifada. We hear this frequently at rallies in support of Palestinians, a pithy phrase talking about resisting for Palestine's freedom. What does this phrase mean? How many of you have seen or heard a car bomb go off? How many of you have lost a friend in a shooting, a car ramming, a suicide bombing? I was 11 when I first heard a car bomb explode. It was summer 2000 amidst the Second Intifada. I was at my grandmother's apartment in Israel, sitting on the porch of the 5th floor, getting ready to go to the beach. I was looking out the window at the intersection of Herzl and Dizengoff in the heart of Netanya. I had just turned away from the window, and then boom, followed by cries, screaming, police, ambulance sirens. 2 were dead, 12 injured, a relatively small impact compared to some of the other bombings that occurred in that 9-mile wide strip between the West Bank and the Mediterranean. The one that was most impactful to me was the Park Hotel suicide bombing on the first night of Passover, March 27th, 2002, 23 years ago today. My cousins, my great-uncle, my grandfather had stayed at that exact hotel 4 months earlier. 30 dead, 140 injured, on a day when Jews celebrate freedom. Words matter. When you speak of freedom, you advocate for the release of Rumeysa Öztürk, the Tufts student arrested by ICE earlier this week. When you speak of Intifada, you advocate for fear, death, and destruction. Can you imagine another Boston Marathon bombing at Porchfest? That's what you advocate for when you say those words. Globalize the Intifada is a call for violence against Jews and Israel's existence. The boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement is a call to destroy Israel economically. Both of these strategies have the same effect here in Somerville. Jews and Zionists feel that they are in danger and unwelcome in this city. As you debate boycotting, divesting, and sanctioning within the city of Somerville, you open 3 wounds for me. First, you make me, as an Israeli-American Jew, feel the same fear that I felt that day on my grandmother's porch. You tell me that you want to bring the Intifada here, and I take your word at face value that you're going to start shooting and bombing Jewish shops. I see my ancestors and why they left Germany, Yemen, and Morocco. I think to myself that you see me and my family as dhimmis, or second-class citizens in the Arab world, where my family was forced to flee. BDS targets my identity and my heritage. You, as city councilors, would never let any other group be treated that way. Second, you're directing the government to ignore the needs of many of its citizens. How many companies in this city have contracts or do business with Israel? Will Somerville Fire be told to not respond to a company that has a medical emergency? Are they now banned from responding to a burning synagogue? You now have residents, Jewish and otherwise, wondering if they're on a list of the city's Israel-connected businesses. We are very familiar with lists. Based on the text of this ballot question, Jaffa Bakery, owned by a local super sweet Palestinian gentleman, could be banned from doing business with the city simply because he shipped olive oil from Nablus in the West Bank. via Israel. Third, you put a target on the backs of Jews across the city. You open the door for every rabid anti-Semite who comes through the city to assault or berate a Jew because they are Jewish. Is this 1938 Vienna, the Anschluss, or Munich, Kristallnacht? 1941 Baghdad, the Farhud massacre, where 180 Jews were murdered and 700 were injured. October 7th, 2023, where 1,200 Israelis, Jewish, Arab, Christian, Druze, Circassian, were murdered in cold blood. Numerous Jews have expressed to me that they fear for themselves, their livelihoods, and their families, both here and abroad. Many are considering leaving or have already left Somerville. A friend who wants to move to Somerville is currently reconsidering because of this specific motion. A family considered withdrawing their children from SPS because a student walked up to their son and said, "My family says that we can't be friends with Jews." Two sisters said to their parents this week that they want to move back to Maine because, quote unquote, nobody cares about Israel there. A small business owner said to me yesterday that they are unwilling to speak at City Council on this topic because they're concerned about putting a target on the back of themselves and their business. This is the human cost of supporting this ballot proposal. Like many in this room, I'm a left-leaning liberal. I say loud and proud that LGBTQ rights matter, that we should be fighting back against unjustified ICE raids and the dismantling of the Department of Education, that we should be paying a progressive income tax where the richest pay more than the poor, and perhaps most importantly, that the Ginny Smithers pool should be reopened already. These are the items that I want my city council to be discussing, not foreign policy resolutions that will have no effect on a war 5,000 miles away with 1,000 years of history. We're wasting the council's time when there are much more important issues at stake. Yalla, let's end this discussion now. Councilors, in summary, please reject this ballot initiative. By not doing so, you turn Zionists and Jews into second-class citizens and make us question why we're a part of this community that so many of us hold near and dear. Thank you, and have a good night.